Tesla just launched the 2024 Model 3 Performance, and it's better than ever. And I have to say, as compared to other performance vehicles on the market, the Model 3 clearly gives you the most bang for your buck. But if you're in the market for an all-electric performance sedan, Tesla also offers the amazing Plaid Model S. So in this video, I want to compare the new Performance Model 3 to the Plaid Model S to determine if the Model S is worth the extra price, or if instead it makes more sense to save some cash and go with the Model 3. I'm John, and this is Cleanerwatt. When the Plaid Model S first came out, as compared to the Performance Model 3 that was available at that time, the previous generation, there was a larger gap difference between what you got with the Plaid Model S versus the Model 3 Performance. But now, with the new Model 3 Performance, that gap is smaller, not only when it comes to acceleration, but when it comes to just basic handling and features built into the new Model 3 Performance. Because of this, when you compare the two vehicles side by side, I think for a lot of people, it doesn't make sense to pay the extra money and upgrade to the Plaid Model S. Yes, the Plaid Model S is quicker and offers around 2 times the horsepower, but for everyday driving, the Model 3 is close enough to the Model S when it comes to acceleration and basic features. And I believe that extra $34,000 plus that it cost to get the Plaid Model S over the Performance Model 3 may not be worth it for a lot of people. As compared to the previous generation, the new Performance Model 3 offers a sleeker, more aerodynamic exterior, a refreshed interior with 360-degree acoustic glass, plus extra insulation and chassis improvements that provide a quieter cabin. It also offers a new performance drive unit that has more power, more torque, and is more efficient. New chassis hardware with an adaptive suspension system, a new V3 track mode, upgraded performance brakes with track-ready brake pads, and new sport seats with heat and ventilation, to name just a few of the upgrades. Despite all these upgrades, the price that Tesla is offering the Model 3 Performance at right now is comparable with what Tesla offered it in the recent past for the previous generation of Model 3 Performance. And in addition to that, the new Tesla Model 3 Performance does qualify for the $7,500 tax credit. So if you, as a buyer, qualify and you meet the qualifications from the IRS, you can get that $7,500 tax credit off of the Model 3 Performance, which brings that base price after the tax credit, not including taxes, delivery fees, etc., without all that being added, that brings that base cost to under $47,000 for that vehicle. On the flip side, the Plaid Model S does not qualify for that $7,500 tax credit. So depending on your situation, whether or not you qualify for that tax credit for the Model 3, and depending on which wheel choice you choose for the Model S, the price difference between the two is around $34,000 to $46,500. So that's a large price difference between these vehicles. With that being said, one of the things that you do get with the Model S over the Model 3 is that the Model S does offer more range because it has a larger battery pack, but it looks like the Model 3 is a little bit more efficient than the Model S. With the 21-inch wheels, the Plaid Model S offers up to 320 miles of EPA-rated range, and with the 19-inch wheels, it offers up to 359 miles of range. This compares to the Model 3 Performance's EPA-rated range of 296 miles. In addition, raw power is where the Plaid Model S truly shines. Its tri-motor setup delivers a staggering 1,020 horsepower, which translates to a mind-bending 0 to 60 mile per hour time of just 1.99 seconds. However, the new Model 3 Performance is no slouch when it comes to acceleration and does offer a respectable 510 horsepower, up from 455 horsepower of the previous version, and can go 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds. When it comes to quarter mile times, I haven't seen an official quarter mile time for the new 2024 Performance Model 3, but according to an article that I read, it's estimated that that vehicle should be able to complete a quarter mile in under 11 seconds, but the Plaid Model S, of course, is able to do a quarter mile, according to Tesla, in just around 9.23 seconds. In addition to that, beyond 60 miles per hour, the difference between the two is going to be even more drastic, because the Plaid Model S truly shines beyond 60 miles per hour. According to a Drag Times YouTube video, the Plaid Model S can go from 0 to 130 miles per hour, say like on a track, in just 6.85 seconds. When you compare this 0 to 130 mile per hour quickness to other much more expensive supercars, as I have done on this list, you can see just how impressive this kind of quickness really is. Of course, this kind of crazy performance is made possible thanks to the tri-motor Plaid powertrain with its carbon overwrapped rotors, which are an incredible feat of engineering. With that being said, when it comes to its beyond 60 mile per hour acceleration, the new Model 3 performance should be better than the previous version because it was mentioned in this particular Tesla blog post introducing the new Performance Model 3, quote, "Our latest generation performance drive unit, Performance 4DU, unlocks more torque, power, and better efficiency compared to the previous Model 3 performance drive unit. The Performance 4DU can deliver up to plus 22% continuous power, plus 32% peak power, and plus 16% peak torque delivery." Now, beyond just straight line performance when it comes to handling, of course, the Plaid Model S has an air suspension system, which does have some benefits over a standard suspension system. But with the new Model 3, Tesla did upgrade the new suspension system of that vehicle, and it does have a new adaptive damping system, which should make a big difference over the previous version when it comes to handling. In this blog post, Tesla described the new Model 3 performance suspension in the following way. Quote, "A first for Model 3 and unique to the new Model 3 performance, our new adaptive damping system adjusts to driver and road inputs in real time to optimize ride and handling. Much like our powertrain, our adaptive suspension is controlled via Tesla's in-house software and is therefore a fully integrated chassis subsystem. This allows significant product adaptability in the future via OTA software updates." With that being said, I do expect still that the Plaid Model S with its air suspension will outperform the Model 3 when it comes to driving dynamics. But the Model 3 is smaller and lighter and thus should still be extremely nimble and fun to drive on the track. In addition to that, the new Model 3 performance does apparently have upgraded brakes with track-ready brake pads as well. With that being said, I can't do a side-by-side comparison without talking about the exterior and interior dimension differences between the vehicles. The Model S, for example, is nearly a foot longer than the Model 3, a little bit wider, and has a longer wheelbase. But the new Model 3 performance is over 700 pounds lighter than the Plaid Model S, so that is a benefit there when it comes to nimbleness. When it comes to interior space, the Model 3 is actually more roomy than you might think. And the Model 3 offers more headroom in the front seat and more legroom in the front seat than the Model 3. But in the other categories I have listed here, the Model S does offer more interior space. In addition to that, the Model S does offer a little bit more room in its back trunk. And when you look at the total cargo capacity of the Model S with passengers, it's somewhere around 4.1 cubic feet more than the Tesla Model 3. So that is a benefit there, but it's not a drastic difference. Another important comparison that I have to make here is the charging speed differences between the vehicles. Both vehicles actually charge decently quickly, and the 10 to 80% charging time for the Plaid Model S is estimated by evdatabase.org to be around 30 minutes as compared to the Model 3 Performance, which takes around 27 minutes to go from a 10% to 80% state of charge. And this is, of course, connected to a 250 plus kilowatt charger. But beyond just the 10 to 80% charging times, you need to actually look at how many miles are being added per minute of charging. And based on some basic math, you should get, if you go with the 19-inch wheels with the Plaid Model S, more miles being added per minute of charging. However, if you go with the Plaid Model S with 21-inch wheels, you actually should get more miles being added per minute of charge with the Performance Model 3. Beyond that, let's talk about a technology and feature difference between the Model 3 and the Model S. As you can see on this chart, there are a lot of similarities between the Model S and the Model 3 when it comes to core technologies. But the Model S does have a more premium audio system, a larger front and rear infotainment screen, and also an integrated driver's display, which is not offered in the Model 3. I didn't list it here on this chart because I mentioned it previously, but of course the Model S Plaid does have an air suspension system versus the Model 3, which does not. And I'm sure there are more differences than what I listed here, core differences. But by and large, when you look at a technology comparison between the Model 3 performance and the Plaid Model S, there's not like a huge drastic difference in features. Ultimately, the Plaid Model S is worth the extra cost if you value sheer performance, need a little bit more cargo room, like air suspension, and an improved audio system is important to you, because as compared to other cars in its class, the Model S Plaid is a bargain. However, for the average buyer, I believe the Model 3 performance is still quick enough and should handle exceptionally well with the new improvements. It still has a good sized interior and, in my opinion, offers a lot better value than the Plaid Model S. And if I were buying one today, I would much rather have the Model 3 performance and save the extra cash. Do let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. I'd love to know what you think about all this. I'd also like to say once again, thank you to all of those of you who support me through Patreon. Your support makes a big difference and does help make these videos possible. If you'd like to find out more about how you can support my work through Patreon, I will put a link in the video description. Thank you so much.